Far away in the dark space, a small planet was dying. Its sky was red and storms covered the surface. The planet was called Viron 7. The people of Viron 7 were scared. Their world was breaking apart. They needed help, but no one was coming. The Viron 7 people sent a strong cry for help. They used the oldest, most powerful signal in the galaxy, the SOS. It was a signal that every space race knew. It meant, "Help us, we are in danger." But the galaxy was quiet. Many great alien empires heard the signal. They watched it, but none moved. Some said it was a trick. Others said, "Why should we help them? They are weak." In the huge star cities and battleships of the galaxy, leaders talked but did nothing. The SOS signal from Viron 7 was ignored. Deep, in space far from the busy stars, a group of ships moved. These ships were different. They were dark, big, and strong. They were the Deathworlder fleet. No one knew much about the Deathworlders. Some said they were warriors from a harsh world where only the strongest survive. Others said they were dangerous and never helped anyone. Now the Deathworlder fleet was heading straight to Viron 7. Inside the lead ship, Captain Jara looked at the red planet below. Her eyes were sharp and her face showed no fear. She was the leader of the Deathworlders. She knew the galaxy ignored the SOS signal, but she did not care. "Why are they coming?" many in the galaxy asked. But no one had an answer. The Deathworlders did not send messages. They did not ask for permission. They just moved closer. Back on Viron 7, the people watched the stars. They hoped someone would come. They waited for a hero, but the galaxy stayed silent. A small Viron 7 ship sent messages to other planets and space stations. "Please, help us." "We are dying," they said. The messages flew through space, but most were ignored. Some alien ships passed by but kept their distance. They feared the unknown, and the Deathworlder fleet made them more afraid. The tension grew. In the great halls of the Galactic Council, leaders gathered. They discussed the SOS from Viron 7. Some wanted to send help. But the bigger fear was the Deathworlders. "They are coming," one leader said. "We must prepare for war." Another leader shook his head. "Maybe they will help. Maybe they will save the planet. We cannot know until they arrive." Days passed. The Deathworlder ships grew closer to Viron 7. Their dark shapes filled the skies. On Viron 7, people looked up with hope and fear. The Deathworlders could be their last chance or their doom. The quiet of space was broken by a sudden event. An alien scout ship approached the Deathworlder fleet. It was small and fast. Its mission was to find out what the Deathworlders planned. The scout sent a message. "Who are you? Why do you come?" The Deathworlder fleet did not answer. No reply came back. The scout waited, but only silence followed. The silence was louder than any gunfire. Back on Viron 7, the sky grew darker as the Deathworlder ships moved into orbit. People prayed. They hoped this strange, silent fleet would bring help, but no one knew their true purpose. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang on the scout ship. Something was moving inside the Deathworlder fleet. Weapons were preparing. The scout tried to warn the Galactic Council, but the message cut off. Silence returned. Captain Jara stood on her ship's bridge. She looked at the dying planet and said softly, "This universe ignored your cry for help. Now, we have come." The Deathworlder fleet waited in the dark space. The galaxy held its breath. What would happen next? Would the Deathworlders bring help or destruction? The silent SOS was answered, but not by the ones anyone expected. The red planet, Viron 7, was now under the shadow of a dark fleet. The Deathworlder ships moved slowly, powerful and quiet. They filled the sky like black mountains floating in space. Every light on the planet's surface shone with hope and fear. No one on Viron 7 had seen ships like these before. Their shapes were strange, heavy, and covered with thick armor. They had no flags, no colors, no signs of friendship. The Deathworlders were a mystery, and mysteries in space meant danger. In the great halls of the Galactic Council, alarms blared. The leaders watched the live images of the Deathworlder fleet in orbit around Viron 7. Who are these Deathworlders? One council member asked with worry. They are the strongest warriors we know, another replied. They come from a harsh planet where only the toughest survive. No one knows what they want, but we fear the worst. The council was divided. Some wanted to send diplomats to talk. Others wanted to prepare for war. Meanwhile, on the surface of Viron 7, the people waited. Their cities were empty, streets silent. Many hid in shelters, listening for sounds from above. Suddenly the skies lit up. The Deathworlder ships opened small hangar bays. Fighters and scout ships flew out like angry wasps. They moved fast and quiet, scanning the planet below. The Viron 7. People watched in fear. What did the Deathworlders want? Were they going to attack, or maybe save them? In space, a small alien ship approached the Deathworlder fleet again. This time, it was braver. It sent a message. We come in peace. Tell us your intentions. The Deathworlder fleet still did not reply. Silence answered. Captain Jara stood firm on the bridge of her ship. Her voice was calm but strong. We do not negotiate with fear, she said. We came because no one else did. The universe ignored their SOS. Now, we decide. Her crew looked at her with respect and fear. Deathworlders were not known for kindness. They were hunters, fighters, survivors. Below on Viron 7, people prayed for a miracle. Suddenly, a warning sounded from the Deathworlder fleet sensors. Unknown ships approaching fast, a crew member shouted. Captain Jara's eyes narrowed. Prepare defenses. We do not welcome guests. Alien warships from a nearby star system had come. They wanted to protect Viron 7, or maybe stop the Deathworlders. The first shots were fired. The battle was quick and brutal. The Deathworlder fighters moved like shadows, fast and deadly. Their weapons were powerful, cutting through shields and armor with ease. The alien ships tried to fight back, but they were no match. In less than an hour, the alien attackers retreated, leaving the Deathworlders in control of space around Viron 7. The galaxy was shocked. The Deathworlders had shown their power. The Galactic Council scrambled. We must act fast, they said. The Deathworlders are a threat to everyone. But Captain Jara had another plan. She sent a message, not a war message, but a clear, cold voice. We are here to stop the destruction. We will save Viron 7. But if anyone tries to stop us, we will fight. On Viron 7, people heard this message for the first time. Hope mixed with fear. Who were these Deathworlders really? Friends or enemies? Days passed. The Deathworlders landed small teams on the planet's surface. They wore heavy armor and carried strange weapons. They did not speak to the Viron 7 leaders or people. They worked quietly, studying the planet and the cosmic storms destroying it. A young Viron 7 scientist, Lyra, watched them closely. She was both scared and curious. One night, Lyra saw a Deathworlder soldier helping a trapped child in the rubble. The soldier did not say a word, but gently carried the child to safety. Could these fierce warriors really care? Lyra wondered if the young Deathworlders had a deeper reason to come. Back in space, the Galactic Council met again. They debated fiercely. Should we trust them? One leader asked. Or prepare for war, another said. Meanwhile, in the dark corners of space, spies watched the Deathworlders carefully. No one knew what they planned next. Captain Jara stood again on her ship's bridge, looking at the planet below. The universe ignored their cry, she said softly, but we will answer in our way. The galaxy waited in silence, not knowing if the Deathworlders would be saviors or destroyers, and so the arrival of the Deathworlders brought new hope and new fear. The dark fleet of Deathworlders stayed silent in the skies above Viron 7. Their ships looked like giant shadows, unmoving but full of power. The people on the planet still did not know what the Deathworlders truly wanted. The Viron 7 leaders gathered, in a small room deep underground. They were scared but hopeful. Maybe these strange warriors would help save their dying planet. A message came from a small alien ship sent by the Galactic Council. It was their last chance to make peaceful contact with the Deathworlders. The message was simple and clear. We come in peace, we want to talk, please answer. The Deathworlders did not reply. No one knew why. Days passed. A scout ship from Viron 7, smaller and faster than the Deathworlder ships, moved closer. It sent another message, louder this time, hoping to get attention. Suddenly, a Deathworlder fighter moved out from the dark fleet. It flew quickly toward the scout ship. The people watching held their breath. The fighter didn't attack. It came close, then stopped. Its engines hummed softly. The pilot inside the scout ship sent one more message. "Can we talk? We want to understand you." For a moment there was silence. Then the Deathworlder fighter opened a small channel. A voice came through, deep and calm. "This is Captain Jara of the Deathworlder fleet," she said. "We do not seek war, but we will fight if needed." The Viron 7 leaders were shocked. They heard a voice, but it was cold without warmth. "We only came because your cries were ignored," Captain Jara continued. "We will save your world, but do not expect kindness." The scout ship pilot felt a chill. The Deathworlders were different from any other species. On Viron 7, people talked quietly. Some felt hope, others felt fear. Then, suddenly, the alert sounded. A fast alien ship appeared near the Deathworlder fleet. It was from a nearby empire that did not trust the Deathworlders. The ship fired warning shots. The Deathworlder fleet moved fast. Their warships launched fighters. The air filled with bright beams and explosions. The battle had begun. The Deathworlders fought with skill and strength. Their ships moved like shadows, striking fast and disappearing. The nearby Empire's ships tried to defend their position, but were overwhelmed. In just a few minutes, the battle ended. The enemy ships retreated, badly damaged. The galaxy watched in shock. The Deathworlders were not just warriors. They were a force no one wanted to fight. Captain Jara sent a message to the Galactic Council. "We do not want war, but we will defend what we came for. Viron 7 will live." On the planet, people whispered the news. The Deathworlders had shown power, but maybe also protection. The Viron 7 scientist Lyra watched the skies with hope and worry. That night she dreamed of the Deathworlders, fierce warriors who might save them or destroy them. The next day, a strange thing happened. A small Deathworlder team landed near a village. They carried weapons but did not attack. They helped repair homes damaged by storms. They moved quietly, doing their work. People watched from a distance, unsure what to think. The mystery grew. Why did the Deathworlders fight enemies fiercely but help people gently? The Galactic Council debated. Some wanted to send armies to stop the Deathworlders. Others wanted to learn from them. Captain Jara stood on her ship's bridge. She looked at the planet below and said, "The universe turned its back on this world. We came to change that. Whether they like us or not, we will do what is needed." The galaxy waited, holding its breath. Would the Deathworlders be the saviors Viron 7 needed, or the destroyers the galaxy feared? The first contact was made. The first war had started. The Deathworlder fleet stayed above Viron 7, watching quietly. The planet below was still burning with storms and chaos. The people of Viron 7 lived in fear and hope. They waited to see what the Deathworlders would do next. Inside one of the Deathworlder ships, Captain Jara looked at the planet's surface through a thick glass window. Her face was serious. The SOS signal had brought them here, but the true reason was deeper and darker than anyone knew. On Viron 7, the leaders gathered in secret. They wanted to tell the galaxy the real story behind their SOS call. It was not just about storms or a dying planet. Their world was trapped by a terrible force that came from deep space, a force that destroyed everything in its path. They called it the Shadow Swarm. The Shadow Swarm was a dark, moving cloud made of millions of tiny creatures. These creatures were alive and hungry. They ate everything: stars, planets, even living beings. The Shadow Swarm moved slowly, but destroyed everything it touched. Viron 7 was its next target. The Viron 7 scientists had tried to fight the swarm. They built great machines, weapons, and shields, but nothing worked. Their SOS was a last hope. But the galaxy ignored their cry. Now only the Deathworlders had come. Captain Jara knew the danger. She was not just a warrior. She was a leader who understood the true threat. She sent a message to her fleet. We face an enemy that no one else sees. The galaxy fears us, but we fight to save this world. Prepare for the Shadow Swarm. On Viron 7, the people listened, in shock. They had never told anyone the truth and that a monster from space was coming for them. The Deathworlder soldiers landed more teams on the planet. They worked with the Viron 7 scientists, sharing strange technology and ideas. Lyra, the young scientist, was surprised. The Deathworlders were harsh but smart. They knew how to fight. Together they built new weapons and traps for the Shadow Swarm, but time was running out. The first signs of the Shadow Swarm appeared on the horizon, a dark cloud moving slowly toward the planet. The galaxy watched and still did nothing. The Deathworlders made their stand. They placed powerful weapons on the mountains and in the cities. They set traps in the storms. Captain Jara led the defense from her ship, her eyes sharp and focused. Then one night the Shadow Swarm came. It moved like a wave, dark and deadly. The Deathworlder weapons fired. Bright beams cut through the darkness. The swarm fought back, sending tiny creatures to attack the weapons and soldiers. The battle was fierce. On the ground, Viron 7 people hid. They watched the Deathworlders fight with courage and strength. The galaxy saw the fight but stayed silent. Captain Jara sent another message. This is more than a war. It is a test. If we fail, Viron 7 dies. If we win, the galaxy must see the truth. The battle raged for days. The Deathworlders held their ground. The Shadow Swarm was strong, but the warriors were stronger. Lyra worked with the Deathworlder engineers, learning how to use their weapons. She began to believe in the Deathworlders, not just as fighters, but as protectors. But the danger was not over. The Shadow Swarm was bigger than anyone imagined. Captain Jara looked at the stars and said, "This is just the beginning. The universe will soon know the cost of ignoring their SOS." The Deathworlder fleet prepared for a long fight. They knew the galaxy's silence was a sign of fear, or worse, betrayal. The story of Viron 7 was no longer just a cry for help. It was a warning. The universe had ignored the SOS. Now the Deathworlders were the last hope. The dark skies over Viron 7 burned with fire and light. The Deathworlder fleet and the planet's defenders were ready. The deadly Shadow Swarm was close, a black wave moving through space, hungry to destroy everything. Captain Jara stood on the bridge of her lead ship. Her eyes were sharp and serious. The fate of Viron 7 rested on this battle. If they lost, the planet and its people would be gone forever. "All ships, prepare for attack," she ordered. Her voice was cold but full of power. The Deathworlder fighters launched from their ships like storms. They moved fast, striking the Shadow Swarm with bright energy beams and heavy missiles. On the planet's surface, Viron 7 soldiers and Deathworlder warriors fought side by side. They fired strange weapons that cut through the swarm creatures. The creatures screamed and fell, but more kept coming. The sky was filled with explosions and the sound of war. Young scientist Lyra worked in a hidden lab. She and the Deathworlder engineers had built a new weapon, a huge cannon that could fire powerful bursts to stop the swarm. But the weapon was risky. It could cause damage to the planet if not used carefully. "We have no choice," Lyra said to Captain Jara when she arrived. "This weapon can save us, or destroy us all." Captain Jara nodded. "We will take that risk. For Viron 7 and for the galaxy." The battle grew fiercer. The Shadow Swarm attacked in waves, darkening the sky and covering the land. The Deathworlder warriors fought without rest, their armor glowing from battle damage. Suddenly, the huge cannon was ready. Lyra aimed it at the largest part of the swarm, a dark, moving mass bigger than a city. The cannon fired. A powerful blast of energy shot into the swarm. The dark creatures screamed and fell apart, but the blast shook the ground, causing buildings to crumble. Lyra watched, her heart pounding. The weapon worked, but the cost was high. The Deathworlders and Viron 7 people, cheered. They had won this fight, but the swarm was not finished. Captain Jara sent a message to the Galactic Council. This battle is not just for Viron 7. It is for every world ignored by the universe. We fight so no one else will suffer. The key. Council listened, worried and silent. Meanwhile, the Shadow Swarm changed tactics. It sent smaller, faster creatures that attacked the Deathworlder ships directly. One fighter was hit and exploded. The battle was deadly and close. Captain Jara flew her own fighter into battle, showing her crew she would not hide behind the big ships. On the ground, Lyra and the Viron 7 leaders worked together to protect their people. They built shelters and helped wounded soldiers. But even as the battle raged, a new fear grew. The galaxy was watching but not helping. Many feared the Deathworlders. They did not understand why this fierce, strange fleet had come. Some believed the Deathworlders might take Viron 7 for themselves after the battle. The tension in the galaxy grew. But on Viron 7, the people had no time to worry. They had to survive. The battle continued for days. Each wave of the Shadow Swarm was met with fire and courage. At last, the dark cloud began to break. The Deathworlders' weapons and Viron 7's defenses pushed the swarm back. Captain Jara looked at the shrinking swarm. "This victory is just the beginning," she said. "The universe must wake up. This war is coming to all of us." The planet was safe, and for now, but the cost was heavy. The cities were damaged, many lives were lost, and the people were tired. The Deathworlders stayed, watching and guarding, and the galaxy finally could not ignore the SOS anymore. The battle for Viron 7 was over, for now. The Shadow Swarm had retreated, broken and beaten, but the galaxy was far from safe. Captain Jara stood on the bridge of her ship, looking at the stars. The victory had saved one world, but the darkness was still growing. The Shadow Swarm was only the beginning. News of the battle spread across the galaxy. Many species watched in fear and confusion. Some called the Deathworlders heroes. Others called them invaders. The Galactic Council was in chaos. They argued about what to do next. "Should we join the Deathworlders?" one leader asked. "Or fight them?" Another said, "They saved Viron 7. Maybe they can save others." But others were scared. The Deathworlders were fierce and powerful. What if they came for more planets? Meanwhile, Captain Jara received strange messages. Shadowy groups from distant systems warned her to stop. They feared the Deathworlders, but Jara ignored them. She had a mission: to stop the Shadow Swarm before it destroyed everything. Back on Viron 7, people began to rebuild. The cities were broken, but hope was alive. Lyra and the Deathworlder engineers worked day and night, creating new defenses, but the scars of war were deep. The people asked questions. Why had the universe ignored their SOS? Why had no one else come to help? The answers were painful. Many worlds were too busy with their own problems. Many feared war. Many did not believe the danger was real. Now, they faced the truth. The galaxy was divided. Some planets joined the Deathworlders. Others prepared for war against them. Captain Jara sent her fleet to warn neighboring systems. The Shadow Swarm was moving. It would not stop at Viron 7, but her warnings were ignored or met with threats. The Deathworlders were alone. One night, a secret meeting took place on a distant planet. Leaders from several powerful empires gathered. "We cannot let the Deathworlders control the galaxy," one said. "They are too dangerous." Another agreed. "If we do not act, they will bring war to all of us." Plans were made to stop the Deathworlders by force. Back on Viron 7, Lyra received a secret message from a mysterious ally. "We know the true nature of the Shadow Swarm," it said. "There is a way to stop it, but it will cost everything." Lyra was shocked. Who was this ally, and what price would they have to pay? Captain Jara prepared her fleet for the next battle. She knew the war was only starting. She looked at Viron 7's broken cities and the stars beyond. "The universe turned away when they cried for help," she said softly. "Now they will see the price." The galaxy was watching, waiting for the next move. The Deathworlders were ready. The shadow of war was spreading, and the universe would never be the same. The galaxy was no longer peaceful. After the battle for Viron 7 and the growing threat of the Shadow Swarm, everything had changed. Captain Jara looked out at the stars from her ship's bridge. The Deathworlder fleet had grown, but the enemies had also multiplied. The Galactic Council was broken. Some worlds supported the Deathworlders, hoping to fight the Shadow Swarm together. Others saw the Deathworlders as dangerous conquerors. The galaxy was splitting into two sides, and war was coming. On Viron 7, the people felt both hope and fear. The Deathworlders had saved them, but at a high price. Many worried what the future held. Lyra, now a leader among the scientists, worked with Deathworlder engineers to prepare for the next wave of attacks. They built new weapons, stronger shields, and faster ships. "We must be ready," she told the team. "The Shadow Swarm will return, and we may not get another chance." Meanwhile, in the dark halls of the Galactic Council, leaders argued fiercely. "Those Deathworlders are a threat," shouted one ambassador. "We should build an alliance to stop them before it is too late." "No," replied another. "They are the only ones fighting the Shadow Swarm. If we turn on them, we all lose." Amidst the arguments, secret deals were made. Some planets promised support to the Deathworlders. Others prepared armies to fight them. Captain Jara knew the galaxy was on the edge. She sent out her best diplomats to negotiate peace, but few listened. One day, a small fleet from a powerful empire entered Viron 7's space. Their ships were armed and ready. Captain Jara met with the Empire's commander. The meeting was tense. "We do not trust your kind," said the commander. "You bring war, not peace." Jara replied, "We fight to save this galaxy from the Shadow Swarm. Join us or stand aside." The commander shook his head. "We will prepare for war." Back on Viron 7, the people braced for more conflict. The shadow of a new war hung over the planet. Lyra looked at the stars, wondering if the galaxy could unite before it was too late. In secret, the Shadow Swarm continued to grow. Its dark cloud moved slowly, destroying anything in its path. Captain Jara made a decision. The Deathworlders would not wait for the galaxy to choose sides. They would strike first, to protect Viron 7 and the future. The fleet prepared for battle once more. The galaxy held its breath. The divide was clear, and the war for the universe's survival was about to begin. Darkness spread over the galaxy, like a heavy shadow. The Shadow Swarm was closer than ever, destroying worlds without mercy. The Deathworlder fleet stood between the swarm and the galaxy's last hope. Captain Jara's face was hard and focused. The final battle was coming, not just for Viron 7, but for the future of every star and planet. The galaxy was divided, and many had chosen sides. Some helped the Deathworlders, some fought against them. But all knew one truth: if the Shadow Swarm won, nothing would survive. On Viron 7, the people prepared for war. Cities were rebuilt with stronger walls. Soldiers trained day and night. The sky was filled with patrol ships ready to fight. Lyra stood beside Captain Jara on the command ship's bridge. "We have learned much from the last battle," she said. "Our weapons are stronger, our defenses better." Jara nodded. "But the swarm is changing. It learns from us. We must be ready for anything." The Deathworlder fleet formed a huge circle around Viron 7, a shield against the coming darkness. Ships fired powerful beams, ready to stop the swarm's attack. Suddenly, the Shadow Swarm appeared on the edge of the system. It moved fast, a massive wave of darkness and destruction. The battle began. Explosions lit the space as the Deathworlders fired their weapons. The swarm sent millions of tiny creatures to attack ships and weapons. Captain Jara flew into the thick of the fight. Her fighter darted through enemies, firing with deadly precision. On the ground, Viron 7 soldiers fought alongside the Deathworlder warriors. They held the line, refusing to give up their homes. Lyra watched the battle from her lab, sending data to the fighters. She saw the swarm adapt quickly, changing shapes, attacking new targets. "We need a new plan," she said urgently. Captain Jara called her. "Tell us, Lyra. We'll do whatever it takes." Lyra explained a risky idea, a weapon that could destroy the swarm's core but might also damage the planet. "It is our last chance," she said. "If we fail, everything is lost." Jara made the decision. The weapon would fire. The Deathworlder. Fleet held the swarm back while Lyra and her team activated the device. A huge beam shot into space, striking the heart of the swarm. The dark cloud screamed as it broke apart, but the blast shook Viron 7. Buildings cracked. The ground trembled. People ran for safety. The weapon worked. The swarm was defeated. The galaxy cheered. But the victory was bittersweet. Many lives were lost. The planet was scarred, and the galaxy remained divided. Captain Jara looked at the stars, tired but hopeful. "The universe ignored their cry for help," she said softly. "But we answered with firepower. We saved a world." Lyra smiled, wiping sweat from her face. "And maybe now the galaxy will listen." The Deathworlder fleet stayed to help rebuild. Viron 7's people began to heal. The galaxy faced a new future, one filled with hope, fear, and the memory of a war that changed everything. And somewhere in the silence of space, new threats waited. But for now, the universe was safe.